glitchy again. What's up, everybody?
Morning.
Morning.
It's latte hour.
It's TR. Cheers. We got garden, mint, and oregano. I don't know if that's healthy. I don't know if you're supposed to dry it out first or whatever, but it is really good. It's really strong. I have a cup that says I love my cat because we love our cat, Belle. What do you have?
So I'm drinking a almond milk latte. So just started roasting our own beans. So it's really super fresh. And I do my little latte art. So it's extra special today for our Wednesday.
Hump Day. It's actually National Ketchup Day. And
is?
and National Starting Over Day. So let's start this whole broadcast over.
All right. Take two.
No. Yeah, this tea is good. Should do this more often. In case you're wondering, Reina is over there at the desk. That's why I look over. And that's why she probably looks over here. So we're in the same room. We're trying to figure out the Wi-Fi conundrum.
Yeah, this is our home office, and we usually will swap out sometimes. Sometimes I'll be at the standing desk, and he'll be at in front of the barn doors. But yeah, we just renovated our beautiful space here.
Yeah, it's nice. I need a door on the other side now. Just lock us in here completely. So, thanks for joining. I see there's one person. Welcome. We're going to talk about Wix versus WordPress, which is something that we come across quite often. Why you go with WordPress over Wix, and why you go with Wix over WordPress if you're a crazy person. And we're also going to talk about AI cringiness. We actually started a show last on NBC that was all about AI safety, and it gave us everything that we're watching from these tech things give us ideas. We're always writing it down. Shane was writing things down. I was typing things down. So we're coming here with some info. And feel free, if you're watching, comment. We can display your comments. So we can, if they make sense, then we can talk about them. And, interact with you, the viewer. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I think that's it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So let's start. Want to talk about this?
Yeah. So when we come across anyone really, a lot of the questions we have or the clients that we end up meeting might have a Wix website. So we get questioned a lot. Okay, well, why would I transition to a WordPress site? Wix is kind of that all-in-one solution. You can get it up pretty quickly. You pay a monthly subscription and you have a website, right? So you might want to take that easy route of just getting it up right away. You can pick a template and boom, you're live. Well, today we want to just talk about some reasons and things you should think about before making that decision. And if you have a Wix site, why there's some benefits of choosing WordPress as your solution.
Yeah, and the first three things that Reina said, like it can get up quickly, it can look pretty cool, and you pay a monthly subscription. Like it's an all-in-one thing. So if you're into that, then that works, but future-friendly, future-proof, it's not. So if you're thinking about, okay, I want this in a year or 5 or 10 years, first of all, we don't know if Wix is going to be around as a company. We could just jump right into just the difference of Wix and WordPress. WordPress itself is an open source system. So it's based on PHP and database, so SQL, Postgres, and wherever these files in this database can go, it can live, which is different than Wix. Wix is there, it's proprietary. It's saying it has to live on the system. There's no exporting to a different place. There's something that will export posts, but it's not your whole site. So you're latched in there, you are paying this subscription, which can be $10, which is how they get you in the door. They're like, here, $10 a month. And you're like, okay, it's 120 a year. But you have to upgrade to things like to do anything customize, and it can get pretty pricey. You have different plans that are 30 a month. You could do the math, I'm a math genius. 60 a month, and it even goes up to 500 for enterprise and for like e-commerce, which is crazy. I just looked it up. I was like, holy crap. Like WordPress itself is open source of like you can have things on it and you don't have to pay money unless you upgrade to different plugins and stuff. You do have to pay hosting, but we'll get there in a second. So
And just to talk about, like, once you sign up for Wix, you're able to try it out, go on there, and you can see how easy it is to edit things. But as you get in there, you can move things around, and it will impact mobile. So they do give you the freedom to move things, but then when you look at how it looks at mobile, you realize, okay, that doesn't look like the template, or wow, this is impacted this way. So that's just something to think about. It may seem easier, but if too much freedom and moving things around can actually mess up with the mobile interface.
Mess up with everything. We've seen some horror stories with, I mean, not even stories, just horrible sites that they look great, of course, in the beginning. They give you this template, and then when you get your hands in there and you're not a designer or a coder or anything, at the end, it's a different product, and then you're stuck with it, and you got to restart on National Starting Over Day. So might as well just if you're with Wix,
start over with WordPress.
Yeah, start over to WordPress. You can contact us. Here's a little banner right there. Learn more about our WordPress services at threetonedigital.com. That's what we specialize in. We are WordPress people, but we're open to anything. CMS wise, even custom sites that have no CMS. We do like WordPress because it gives the client a better end result, an end product that they can go in and manage and update and do themselves. We do offer maintenance services where we can go in monthly, which is great, keeps everything out of their hands. But WordPress is so cool that you can just go in, do whatever you want, and not have a crazy looking thing at the end.
And also, just to add on, there's the design, but then there's also the biggest reason is SEO. Really, when you get Wix, there's very basic settings, and you don't have control over SEO. So when you sign up with Wix, you're putting yourself in a very limited box.
Yeah.
You have a limited reach no matter what. And when you're thinking about having a website, you kind of you should plan for the future, your future success, not just today. And WordPress allows that. It can be a simple site, but you can control SEO, have other tools, Yoast, JSON schema, add that to the pages, and really increase your opportunity to reach more customers. Versus Wix, you're not able to do that. So
yeah, and at Wix, they do give you like a title and a meta description and stuff, and they do have plugins. So there's one of the big downfalls I see of Wix is they'll say, no, it can do everything that WordPress can do, but you got to pay for these in addition to the subscription that you're paying. You have to pay monthly for these little plugins, and maybe they're $5 a month, but everything adds up. And especially if they're only doing one task, that something like WordPress, a plugin, or WordPress in general can do for free. Like, why even bother? So they do give you a little bit of access. I think they do have SEO plugins now, but subscription-based kind of thing.
Yeah, so you got to pay to even get that reach, where WordPress, you have the ability to have that right on your fingertips and have that control.
Fingertip SEO.
.com.
I'm going to register, and I'm starting over. We're not doing three-tone anymore. We're doing fingertip
SEO.
Yeah, another thing I would say is the template look. Like, they look good, yeah, but at the back end of all these sites, these Wix sites, it's the same code, and Google's not stupid. Sometimes it is, but it's not usually stupid, and it knows, and it says in itself, this code is exactly the same as this one, so why do I care about really either one, And it's not, you're not gonna be like, oh, this site was created in Wix, I'm not gonna show it. Of course that's not true, but it would never get as much attention as custom HTML that makes sense semantically, that says this is the H1. What's an H1? This is an H1 of the page, and it just trails down. Where Wix is kind of like, it looks really good, and you could probably control that, but it doesn't give you the end result of Google looking at it and say, okay, I know exactly what this thing is. That's one problem I see. And like Reina said, the templates look good at the beginning. When you start to modify them,
they don't look good. Especially if you want to just move a couple things, then it's like not the template anymore, and you're doing something custom, which is easier to do in a WordPress platform.
Yeah.
And WordPress has improved and evolved so much that the block editor itself is turning into a more user-friendly platform that you're able to make these updates and use already created patterns and things like that to bring in that look more modern than, let's say, that box template look. So
yeah, and WordPress, I mean, not to go into like the history of WordPress, it started as a blogging platform, and that's how it was. And even after they released something called Gutenberg, which is a site editor, it wasn't very good, but they've improved it, where it's become its own native page builder. It's called what is it called? Full Site Editing, FSE. It's so cool that it's competing against these Weebly, Weebly, Wix, Squarespace. There's all these things that are out there, and of course they're good for what they do. But I guess the main purpose of this whole thing is like saying, if you're with Wix or you're thinking of going with Wix, give WordPress a second thought, because you might have had experience with it before. You might have even heard stuff from other people like, no, it just does this, and you have to put it somewhere, and it's all manual stuff. But it's becoming so in depth that it's a good competitor, especially in the term of price and being locked into something as much as Wix and Squarespace. And I don't want to say Weebly, like, why even bother?
Yeah,
So weird.
not Weebly.
Yeah, another thing. What else?
I would just say the decision to go with a specific platform should match your future goals. So the decision that you make today should be something that you're thinking about the success of your business and wanting to grow and expand, and having a platform that will support that growth. And that's really what WordPress is. And a lot of the times when we kind of go through this with businesses and say, okay, well, what would you like to do? Where do you see your client base? What functionality do you want to include? We'll even analyze, okay, what can we do on this platform versus this platform? You want that output or that result. This is how you can do it with WordPress. This is the cost to do it with Wix, in the sense of it doesn't come out of the box like that, and all these other things need to be added to it to create that. So once you start seeing what it is to create the end result, you realize what the better solution is. So that's just something that we kind of evaluate. And yeah, we can talk about, okay, we're WordPress people. We of course love WordPress for a lot of reasons, but it's really better for the client. It's better for their business. It's better for their future growth. So that's why we recommend it. We don't recommend Wix, period. Only because unless you just want a secret website and you just want to have something up there that nobody's going to find except for word of mouth. That's the only reason that I would recommend Wix. Like, hey, you just want to say you have a website and there's no growth or future. So not to be so
that is crazy.
That's just how I see it, because I want the best for our clients, and to achieve the best, you need to have a good solid foundation. So
yeah, we recently had a client go from Wix to WordPress, and he came in asking for updates to the site, which is fine. But we realized, and then he realized that you had to upgrade to the different plan to even access the code to make these updates. So at the end of it, he's going to be paying $60 a month, even though it started at $10 a month. And they said, no, you can do whatever you want on here. They didn't tell him you need to have the upgraded plan. So we came in to the meeting, right? And like,
yeah, that was
a new website. He was like, no, I'm not looking for a new website. And then at the end of the call, we're planning the new website. Now we've made the website. He's transferred from Wix. He has a lot of, clicks. Everything's better. He's in a better place now. Thankfully, we don't have to deal with Wix. I mean, the stuff he wanted to do, you could do, but again, he's at the end of the year, he's been paying, what is it, 60 times, whatever. It's like,
Yeah, too much for not enough results. So
yeah, it's insane. But yeah, I mean, that's why. It's also slower. WordPress can be slow too if you install a clunky theme or a bunch of plugins or it's on a slow server. There's a bunch of ways you can make it slow. But Wix in general is just, it loads every script because it can do everything. It says, you want to animate this text flying by, you want this to move when you come down here, you want these boxes to explode. These little scripts are in the code and it says, if the person wants to use it, I'll let them use it, but at the cost of it being loaded by a browser. So WordPress at least gives you the option to say, I don't want any of that stuff. I just want it to do this. And when I do want to do something, include it. And I think that's a good thing to do because that really affects SEO and of course user experience, which you weigh which one's more important to yourself, but they're equally important. You don't want a user to come on and be like, this is horrible to have Google care about it. Like, who really cares at that point? Click through, so, and vice versa.
yeah, and one thing that we get a lot of questions about plugins in general, and one thing that was said was, well, how many plugins are too much? Like, what will slow down my site? And the answer to that question really is you can have just one plugin that is one really bad plugin that does all these scripts and take a long time to load to impact your website. It's not so much quantity, but it's quality. And that's just something that, of course, having too many and you're not using and just keeping them on there can take up a lot of resources, but you can still just have one plugin that really slows down your site. So being able to kind of understand that, yeah, we talk a lot about having too many is not good, but it's not really about the quantity, more of the quality of the plugin and how it's being rendered.
Yeah, I mean, a big offender is like Divi. Divi's a theme, but you get these Divi
add-ons,
expansion packs that'll give you every option, and just that plugin alone will destroy the speed of your site. They get better. There's Divi, Beaver Builder, Elementor, which is personally my favorite if we're going down that route. But we like to use the block theme. It's native. It updates easily. There's not a lot of stuff that's attached to it. You can always customize it like to hardcore. It's really cool. I'll stop advertising WordPress.
Yeah.
I'll work for WordPress. WordPress should be paying us. Yeah, I mean, and if you have any questions about our process with WordPress or our experience of making a site from Wix to WordPress, again, there's not like a button that does it. There's something that will export posts, and if it's a post-based site, then that is helpful, but usually it does have to be redesigned, and that's usually a good thing because you can really lighten the load. Use that if you want to use it as like a guidance. Say like, I like this site, my customers are used to it, but I want XYZ. We can do that. We can always say, well, let's lighten everything about it, make it look the same, more responsive, more SEO friendly, cheaper. Just again, Wix could close down tomorrow, which they probably won't, but maybe. Then you have the site. So just say that. Yeah.
Okay.
About WordPress before we go into our AI cringe.
Yeah, I think we covered mostly Wix versus WordPress, but I think the biggest thing would be being able to own your website and not have to have this monthly subscription, and SEO being like huge factor. And all the SEO experts that we work with agree. And if you know SEO, you know that WordPress is a better solution. So now moving on to AI, AI cringe. So since AI blasted out ChatGPT, we just kind of wanted to have an open conversation about how we've seen this impact all the tools that we use every day. So from Canva to AI writing tools, it's just kind of been placed into everything. Everything has adopted it. So we kind of want to just talk about that.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I mean, I use it now we all use, I mean, maybe not everybody, because your friend didn't know about it, shouldn't use it. And that's kind of
it depends on your field. She's a nurse, so
true. She's like, how do I help this person?
she's not relying on AI to diagnose anybody. So
well, like we use Copilot, which is GitHub. I pay $10 a month. It's totally worth it. It helps speed up the efficiency of our coding. But like she said, Canva, Google search. When you search in there now, like I don't know. Have you been seeing all the negative things where somebody will search how many rocks per day should I eat? And Google is like, you should eat one small rock per day, because the AI doesn't, it's relating it to results, and it doesn't have the common sense to know that a human should eat a rock. There's a bunch of these that are out there. It's crazy. But like, I think one of the main things I was thinking of when we were talking about it was, you search on Google now and say you're searching how to set up a Raspberry Pi, because there's one in front of me, which we have to still do. It's a little dull, and it's going to tell you the results right there. It's going to say step 1, buy a Raspberry Pi. Step 2, learn Python, whatever the things are. And you don't have to, for good or for worse, go to the first result or any of the results, because it's saying right there what exactly you need. So I think it's weird. Google itself is destroying itself from the inside by utilizing this, right? Because they want people to click instead of here's the information. I know they did it before, but now it's even more, especially with the generative AI, where it's like, I'll tell you exactly what you need, whether it's wrong or right. Usually it's right, I would assume, hopefully, or they might be sued pretty soon. But it's telling you when you leave and you're gone. You never click the site. It's weird, right? It seems like it's like backwards. But that's Google. Everything they make dies, and I guess the search is probably the last one on their list. Remember Google Photos and stuff?
Yeah. And like I've seen we've all seen on social media, right? Just looking at images now, a lot of companies are using AI generated images to sell a specific product, and seeing all these things and like headshots, everybody doing a headshot to look more professional and things like that. It's so cringy because they'll be advertisements for certain things. And then in our work, we do, we're on getting like stock photos, and I would see an image and I'd be like, that's a stock photo that they used to advertise this. And it's so crazy how it just went full circle. And like, I see it everywhere. We see it in posts, overuse of emojis. We know certain words.
Yeah, I got it. Certainly. Your bespoke, meticulous website, rocket emoji shooting to the sky. It's like so obvious. And of course, they're improving it with ChatGPT 4 and 4.0 and stuff like that. And it's going to be harder to tell, but it really rips the soul out of it. And you can tell when especially if you're used to the person, say you're following somebody and all of a sudden their tone changes and you're like, what the hell is this? It's language. And it's like almost too obvious, where it becomes this like show and it's not yourself. And even if you're not a great talker or a great writer or anything, at least you're yourself. And the pictures, forget it, those AI pictures. I've seen a few people on Facebook recently with these, like, it's worse than a filter. When the Snapchat filters, now they're just a completely avatar, of yourself.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, this is the beginning, right? So this is probably the worst that we'll see it. So we're still at the point where we're able to identify certain things sometimes, but it's only going to get better and harder to be able to tell the difference between what's real and fake. And I think it kind of it brings an important question, like, as a business, how are you going to really stand out and be authentically yourself during this? Because we're in the era of AI. So it's like, these are some of the reasons why we kind of decided to just come live and just go for it, because there's just so much content out there. There's just so many posts and things that are generated, and you don't really know what the real voice is. And when we work with our clients, we kind of want to be able to discover what the real tone of that business is, because now you have access to all these tools to create these perfect words or what they think is a perfect generated word for your business. So being able to kind of take control of that and kind of make it yours.
Yeah, that's true. Very nicely said.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah, I just wrote a little note here. AI, just take it slow, really. Like, don't overuse it, because in a few years, it's gonna just continue. Not even a few years, a week, a month. It's gonna continuously grow, and to learn how to adopt it into your own business or life, even, that is beneficial to yourself and not just fake, is, I think, is going to be really an important thing over the over the evolution of it, until it becomes, God help us, AGI. And that, what AGI is, in case you don't know, is pretty much AI thinking for itself, almost like a human. It's artificial general intelligence. So they're working on it, and they probably have already invented it, but it's not public. But I assume pretty soon we're going to be seeing a lot more of it. Even if you're sick of it now, I'm kind of sick of it, honestly. I'm sick of seeing it in things like we were saying, like Canva, or it's like help. And they did it before, help me write. I don't want anybody to help me write. I'm very like stubborn with that kind of stuff. I'll use it to generate ideas, lists of things, but I'll erase it all and use it as like as a squirrel trying to be on a live stream.
Oh my gosh.
You can't be on this live stream. Maybe tomorrow. But really, just take it slow and don't dive in at first, because I don't think it's going to be worth your while.
Yeah, I think if used right, it's a great tool for certain things to make things more efficient. And even as a developer, it could help. But can it create a whole site? Yeah, it could, but there's going to be issues. It's not a perfect creator. There's things that it can't take into consideration if not given the right prompt. So
for now, but yeah,
for now,
I recently, I think the first experience I had with it feeling threatening to me as a web developer, someone invented, you probably have seen, if you're in this field, they said, like, enter a bunch of keywords and it'll generate a literal hosted site for you with just keywords. I did it, and it was horrible. It was about, something about oranges. And again, it's going to get better, of course, but it's always going to use what it knows, and not your expertise. It's always going to use what it knows from the data that has been fed into it to generate it, whether it looks like it is now, which is, or a couple whatevers, it's going to look amazing. It still takes away, just like the Wix thing, where it's, well, here's that, Google, or again, if it stays around, or even just people, you can see the difference. You can see the difference. And we just hosted an AI class, and most people got all the things wrong of the difference between people, AI generated, and real people.
Yeah, so that class was really about educating parents about AI, because the kids are in this era that they're growing up with this technology, not something us 90s kids went through. So there's a whole aspect of mental health and educating your child and making sure, because there are things out there that are targeting our children that are based off AI chatbots and things like that. And the kids think it's fun because it's like, oh, type this, what is it going to say? But it's something that as parents, I think we need to stay on top of and stay educated on the technology, know what pros and cons are with it, not just in our business, but just in our lives in general, because it is everywhere and everyone is adopting it. So that was something that in our free time, we are working on an initiative called 518 Power Up, and it's just trying to power up our community and learning about the AI technology as we're learning about it too. So we just want to kind of educate and say, okay, these are the resources you should look at. This is what you should look out for. You need to understand and kind of have these conversations with your children on what they're seeing, because a lot of the times we don't know what our the internet is through our children's eyes. It's a whole different experience, because they're gamers or they're on social media and things like that. So knowing that and communicating and having that open line of communication, I think, is important. to just have that and just stay in the know of the new resources. So
yeah, it's probably the only way, because it's going to keep growing. It's going to be everywhere. And just to be open and honest and communicative, that's a long word, with your children, or anybody really, elderly. This is for a different topic.
yeah, this is a whole nother thing.
It's true. It's like, if anybody's interested in it, let us know in the comments. We have like a whole class that we've done, and there's a lot of information out there on phishing and the scams that are coming along with it, because it's giving anybody in the world the power to like pretend they're somebody else very well, to in voice and text and content and images. So it is a scary world. It already has been, with all this scams and phishing for the elderly and children and just people in general. You almost could scam that Poshmark.
Poshmark. Oh yes, yep.
I don't know if it was AI, but it's like, even if you're in this industry, there's clever things out there that try to get you. So, and if you're not in the industry, who knows? Anyways, we'll move beyond the squirrel now. Let's keep looking at him.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, like I said, this is a broadcast. Like and subscribe. I don't know if this is too soon for that, but they say smash that like button. We're new at this, and we're gonna keep, what is it? We're going.
So yeah, we're doing a 7-day live. We're gonna test it out here. So this is our second day going live, and we're just gonna go whatever comes to mind when it comes to hot topics or things that we come across. We're just gonna jump on and have a quick conversation and just see how it is, because it's something that we think is important to just kind of create our own tone and our own voice.
Yeah, and if you feel inspired, we'd ask you to share, comment, like it, or subscribe to us wherever your favorite is. Twitter, we're on Twitter at 3 Tone Digital, YouTube at 3 Tone Digital, Facebook at 3 Tone Digital, and LinkedIn / whatever
3 Tone Digital,
whatever. So we'll be here, and we're gonna if you have any ideas for anything you want to learn too, if we know it, or if we just know a little bit about it, leave a comment, and we'll discuss it internally over lattes and tea in the garden.
Yes.
I
think the biggest takeaway from today would be the decisions that you make today for your business are important for your future. So you don't want to just decide on the easiest solution, but more so think about what the future of your business is, and choose a platform that can create that. We really build our sites, our business growth over time with our client, and we build for today, but we also plan for the future. And WordPress has the tools to kind of build as you grow. So what you choose today will impact your future. So I think I'll end there. Where'd you go?
No, I left. I wanted to give you the stage.
I don't think I like that.
You don't like only? Okay,
yeah. I was like, where'd you go?
I'll just have my face there while you talk, and I'll be doing like a overdub. Yeah, I thought that was you should do like a final word kind of thing, like Reina's final word.
Yeah, I'll do that next time. We'll do a final. I'm trying to top my last final word. Yesterday was move with purpose, and we're moving with purpose today by doing the second live, and really to think about, I guess my final word would really be, or phrase, I guess it would really to think about your future and make decisions that will impact future growth.
Yeah, in all sense of that, with your website and just personal life in general too,
Yeah, and stay educated about the new technology for yourself, and also if you have children, that's very important too, I think.
Yeah, so I'll end it here. Put some lo-fi music on. We'll fade away into the darkness.
Thanks for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Cheers. Remember, like and subscribe, share.